Hi, Jen here from Jen Michelle Coaching, and today I want to talk about how to be in your feminine energy without losing yourself. This is a question that comes my way a lot, where there's this curiosity and desire to deepen in what it means to be feminine, but there's also this association of being something that you're not, of not being able to have ambition or goals or forward motion anymore. So I want to take a deep dive into what this can really look like authentically for you. For those of you new to my channel, I would love to invite you to subscribe. I release a video weekly. This first step is around receptivity, beginning to really notice your ability to receive, right? Not on your terms, your preferences, but what you can receive right now in a given moment. So often a woman will come to me and say, I'm receptive, like I can receive, but it's more like the big grand gestures or the boxes that the world has taught us to recognize as receiving, maybe like a dinner or someone spending money on us, someone taking us out, those sorts of things. But how much can you really receive sort of from this soul level type of way? Meaning you can wake up, you can recognize that being outside or in your house, like being able to make a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, or being able to take a hot shower, journal in the morning, whatever your routine is, how much of those day-to-day things can you receive? Can you receive in the mundane, or does receiving for you look like the big grand gestures, the big moments of life? Because if it's the latter, this will show us where we have a very narrow definition of what it means to receive. And a lot of times I will say to women that I work with, as well as I think I've spoken to this in different YouTube videos around men fall in love when they're giving to an open and receptive woman. But this doesn't mean that we look at this in that literal sense where he has to be doing this, that, and the other. But we look at all of the ways the masculine is always sort of providing for us. Maybe it's his presence, maybe it's his attention, maybe it's him going the extra mile and taking out the trash or pouring you the cup of coffee. Provision doesn't mean like monetary only, right? It can be an aspect of that, but if we are looking at it in this narrow lens, we will likely be less humbled and more entitled, which blocks our blessings and blocks our deeper capacity to receive on that soul level. Number two would be staying grounded in your body. This is what it means to be feminine, that you are calm and grounded and composed. This doesn't mean you never get upset, you never get rattled, you never speak your raw emotion, but you are embodied and you have the capacity to hold your emotions without weaponizing them. Right? There isn't anything performative leading you. When we're in the head, we're performative. Oh, it should look like this. I should be feeling this. I should be doing this. That's more performative. Embodiment means you're connected to yourself. You feel safe and grounded in your body. This isn't about being perfect, but it's about that tuning in and always using this as an option, right? To stay in our body and see what wants to be expressed from there, to connect deeper, which will often require us to slow down, to check in. What's going on within me right now when I'm communicating with this other person? Is there a charge? Is there a disembodied response coming up? Where can I kind of ground myself, my heels into the floor, bring my breath lower into my belly, be present? So when I communicate my truth or when I express my boundary, it just is. It doesn't have to have this sort of rigidity or intensity around it. You already know you're going to self-honor. Therefore, when you communicate, it's not this really charged up, egoic sort of reaction. It's just steady and it just is. This is what it means to no longer perform and to allow what is true for you to really be accepted, integrated, and embodied. So when you share it, it just is, right? Number 3, softness as a clear choice versus a form of self-abandonment. So when we are in the more performative aspect of what soft means, meaning it's not actually embodied, it's just like, oh, that's what it should look like. I should be doing it this way, kind of like more as a form of like strategy or mental concept. When we turn to softness in terms of embodiment, we are showing up for ourselves differently. We're giving ourselves grace. We're slowing ourselves down. We're nourishing our bodies with healthy food. We are taking walks throughout the day and we're being aware of the sight, sounds, touch, all of those things around us. We are giving ourselves the gift of slowing way down. And if you're watching this and thinking, I don't have time for all of that, I don't have the luxury for all of that, or if this is triggering you in any way, it's just an invitation in any area of your life to soften those edges. It doesn't mean you need to clear 2 hours a day for a new routine. It just means that you're starting to incorporate a richness and a presence and an intention into your day to day so you can be here for all of it versus escape through your phone or escape for the big moments only, because this leads to that disembodied, more strategic way of thinking and relating to others, because we're in survival from this orientation, ultimately trying to get something and trying to figure out how to do it. This will be very, very different in terms of how the other person receives you. And it will feel very different when this is embodied because you already know at a soul level that you are cared for, that you are safe, and you can relax in this larger sort of masculine framework of, yes, your life, but of the divine. Like you feel held on a deeper level, but it's in creating this spaciousness for softening, for surrendering to what we can't control, that this is accessed. And I think a practice worth mentioning on softening is you are just widening your ability to feel. So you're not projecting on others. You are sitting with something that's hard. Yes, you are bringing your raw emotions in when that's necessary, but it's from a space of truth and it's from a space of having self-control and not projecting and blaming and falling into that drama triangle of maybe making another person the perpetrator and yourself the dynamic. And instead, you are working with these parts of self that need to soften, that are coming from survival, and then you are resetting and expressing yourself from this more clear and conscious place. This is a practice, right? This is not about perfection. But one thing that I think is important to note in this is if you can regulate yourself and be in your body, that's going to be more important than the words that come out of your mouth. So if you have the perfect words, but you're totally chaotic in your body, trust that that energy will be felt. So it is more important to practice grounding yourself and steadying yourself and opting into being in your body than it is to have the perfect script or words to say to another. And so really make this the practice, make this the priority. Give yourself that gift. And if you feel a lot of resistance, like making any changes in your life or showing up for yourself this way, get curious, because when we lean into resistance, we're usually seeing something where we've created a little bit of a barrier or we need to look a little bit deeper. I would love to hear how these 3 tips support you in your practice of accessing your feminine in this really authentic and embodied way. And if you would like to go deeper, I would invite you to book an introductory call with me. I have my calendar open where you can book a 50-minute call to take a really deep dive into your situation and get direct advice to help provide clarity and confidence, and learn about longer term mentorship for those of you that are just really needing deeper, ongoing one to one support in your life there. Sending you love and see you next week.